Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Hope she brings the message specifically to her base, right? She's in town to visit the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority convention, and which we all know is her base. We have over 20,000 visitors, and some who are from Dallas, right? So I hope she brings a message of hope, restored unity, and all the things that have inspired us over the last 4 years through that administration to the convention this week. I'm a Biden delegate, and I'm going to the convention to cast my vote and support for President Biden, as are so many other. I believe we're taking a delegation of 41 from Dallas County, the largest delegation that we've ever taken from Dallas to the national convention, and we're excited about supporting our nominee. Well, we really have to listen to people, right? We have to listen to voters. And just this past March in the primary, 87% of Democrats across the country said that we choose Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, to be our nominee. And so we have to make sure that we are participating in democracy and respecting the results of elections. That's who we are as a party. I think Vice President has been, I guess, chief among them to support President Biden staying in the race, right? She has worked with him every day for the past 4 years. And so I don't believe that he's going to step out of the race. Actually, he sent a letter to Congress yesterday saying that he's all in and he's committed. And so I think that she is supporting him and we're supporting him as well. I think it actually have a positive impact,
Why?
right? More discussion proves that we had more eyes watching the debate, right? If we had more eyes watching the debate, or if it was communicated via social media or however, whatever platform that it was communicated, people are now paying attention to the top of the ticket and what's going on in the presidential race. Right? My job is an advocacy role as a party chair, and so I have to communicate with so many people across our county, 1.4 million registered voters in Dallas County. And so I think the hustle and bustle of communications of what's going on with President Biden and his commitment to stay in the race has heightened voter education, right? It's allowed me to have conversations with individuals to explain what is a delegate, what does it mean to go to national convention, what do you do in that process? And so it's been a really good voter education piece, but it's also restored hope in the base. I think Dallas County is solidly blue, right? And we've done that work and we've proven who we are here in Dallas County. I think that the role of a party chair is some would call it difficult, but we're up to the task, right? So I think this does not make my job any harder. We have amazing candidates here in Dallas County, some who are uniquely Texan. When you talk about Colin Allred, who's running for U.S. Senate, and his ability to cross over and speak to a lot of different voters. He lives at the point of a lot of intersections. We have down ballot candidates who are insanely popular in their district. And we have new candidates like Avery Bishop in 112, who is, taking social media by storm and her ability to communicate with voters in a new way. A Gen Z candidate communicating with Gen Z voters. So we have a plethora of candidates who I think can really communicate to voters. So I don't think it makes my job any more difficult, just leaning into who we are here in Dallas County and kind of amplifying that message. I'm confident. right? And that doesn't come in this moment. We've been working in those areas around the county, actually, since January. We started knocking doors, county party, in January in the primary, talking to voters who were, less than likely to turn out, low propensity voters, talking to individuals who only kind of turn out during a presidential election. And so we've been having those conversations for 7 months now. And so I believe that those voters are locked in with us. They're supporting the candidates, and we'll hope to see them again in November. Yeah, I think that's what we specialize in the Dallas County Democratic Party, making up ground and covering ground. We have an extensive ground game. We talk to voters every day. Actually, our organizers are out now, knocking on doors, talking to constituents around the county. Beyond that, I think that Congressman Allred does an amazing job in effectively communicating with some of his commercials, some of his TV ads. Right? He's messaging across the state, not only in Dallas County, but in Houston, in El Paso, and Rio Grande Valley. So I think he's done an amazing job with being able to cover the message of the Democratic Party and the values of our party through the airways. Yeah. Well, my job is to run up the score in Dallas County every election. And so I'm excited to do that. I have the help of other members of Congress, like Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. So we have some very effective communicators who can get the message out to the base in Dallas County, but also across the state, right? So we have a cadre of communicators who can talk to different voters, right? And meet them exactly where they are, whether they're a base, tried and true Democrat, or they're a new voter or a potential swing voter who say, never Trump, right? I can't seem to vote for this guy, or I don't align with the vision that my party or direction that my party is going into. So we have a number of individuals beyond myself that can communicate effectively, and I think voters are excited and ready to listen to those voices. Not concerned at all.
Why not?
Well, I don't think he's proven himself the way that the Biden-Harris administration has. Specifically here in Texas, the Biden-Harris administration was able to deliver $3.4 billion in transportation infrastructure streets. I mean, we're in Dallas, and we know that we can use a little bit of love of TLC on our roads here. And so for the Biden-Harris administration to deliver real dollars and support for our roads and bridges, things that affect our day-to-day lives, that's what people are looking for. People want to know, what are you doing to affect my day-to-day life? And I think the Biden-Harris administration has been able to deliver on that promise. The biggest issue on the poll is that this is not a campaign or an election cycle that's focused on two candidates, right? I think Democratic voters are well aware that all of our values and all of our freedoms are democracy as we know it hinges on this election cycle. It's all on the ballot.
What does that mean? I hear Democrats talking about that a lot, but can you break that down for me?
I mean, the freedom to choose, bodily autonomy for women or individuals who can become pregnant. We're talking about DEI, things that have been stripped away even at the state level, right? So having federal protections to be able to live in a world and for people to have the freedoms that they choose, right? I think the Democratic Party is the party of life. And so we try our best every day to deliver for people, right? We talk about the roads and bridges and the infrastructure brought to Dallas, the money for that brought to Texas, specifically brought to Dallas. So talking about issues, values, and tying those things in, even when we talk about, housing, right? Affordable housing, and talking about how these things connect to people day-to-day lives, That's what the Democratic Party is ready to do this election cycle. Talk to voters about things that's happening right at their homes and things that affect them, and tying that and connecting it with how the county party is working hard for them every day, but also how the Biden-Harris administration is delivering for them as well.
And say, wait a
Sure.
minute.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, it's broader than just that. When we talk about you know, criminal justice reform, prison reform, how do we handle individuals who are in our care as they exist, right? It's a nuanced conversation. We are leading the way to make sure that people are being able to live lives that are free, and to make sure that we have um, choices in this country and maintain our freedoms the way we have over the past few years under this administration. Sure. Yeah. Well, when I heard it, it wasn't so surprising, right? This is something that's natural. It happens for a lot of polling locations. They have the choice. The county or the county election department, we rent those facilities, and so there's plenty of facilities that come and go every election cycle. Our goal is to maintain familiarity with locations to make sure that voters know where they can go consistently. And so I'm not as concerned about that location leaving, but we're working, to have a solutions-based answer for that in the actually coming days. I've also reached out to the Republican chair, and then I've been working with the commissioners as well, county commissioners, to make sure that we're finding replacements to these locations in the vicinity. Right? I don't want to take voters too far away from where they're familiar with.
right.
It's number one. Yeah. I think it's the collective work of everybody involved, right? From the party perspective, uh, it it is the election department. But back to your original question, when we think about elections like this and times that we're living in, right? I think some of these locations, people of faith, houses of faith, there's a bit of concern with Donald Trump and Trumpism on the ballot, right? People have a heightened sense of security and concern about what may happen in their parking lots or on their facilities. And so these are the things that we have to educate voters about, and to be educated on, and kind of look out for as they go to the polls, right? So this is not a fear-mongering conversation, but the fact that you have some of these extremist conversations, extreme voices out there, these are some of the results that we have to deal with administratively. That wasn't my understanding, but I understand, we have um, over 800 locations this cycle. And so some of them vary. And we've heard from a number of them that are concerned about the political rhetoric, right? And so there are some who can't handle that volume of traffic for 2 weeks in a row. We're asking them to open their doors to voters for 2 weeks in a row, 1 week during early voting, and then again on 2 weeks, sorry, during early voting, and then again on election day. So sometimes, you run into that issue. My understanding on our Redeemer is that it was more of a political concern. That was through another source. I don't have which locations those are individually, but I have heard that. Well, look, we have to be vigilant. And as far as the county party perspective, and specifically from the election department's perspective, to make sure that we are doing our best at voter education. Right? This is a voter education piece to make sure that we have free, fair, and safe elections. Right? We want to create a welcoming environment for those individuals to be able to come and vote and to have a great experience when they do so. Jack, every candidate is working hard to get their message across. And so I think that when we go to a polling location, everyone is trying their best to secure a vote and to get their message across. And so we want to make sure that that's done in a safe manner, but also that the voters have a great experience when they show up.
Anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, that the Dallas County Democratic Party is ready to be the ground game and the leader for Dallas, Texas, but also as so goes Dallas County, so goes the state of Texas, right? We look forward to supporting our nominee and President Biden, and we believe that the Biden-Harris administration has delivered for Texas, and Dallas County will deliver for them.
Kardal Coleman, Chair of the Dallas County Democratic Party. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.